Hi there, beautiful souls. Welcome back or welcome to The Hawk and I. My name is Lana Zelinsky and I work in the spirit dimensions. Happy Friday to everybody. As always, in all my videos or on my live feeds, simply take what resonates and you're welcome to leave the rest right here. Hello there. Good morning. Come on in, everybody. I need my glasses on today to be able to see. I done some channeling the last couple days and some interesting stuff has been popping up lately. So I'll give everybody a few minutes to just pop in. Hi there, Wesley. Good to see you. Hi, Camilla. Welcome. I'm looking forward to the weekend. I'm hoping many of you are as well. Welcome. Come on in. We'll give everybody a chance before I start yapping away about what I've channeled with my spirit guides the last couple days. I've got quite a bit on my note sheet here, so let's have a chit chat on what spirit's been saying. I'm just curious, with those of you who are tuning in, have you noticed the energy feeling just a little bit anxious, or have you been feeling a little bit anxious yourself? Has anybody been feeling a little bit, just a little bit anxious, or just a little bit off? Because some of the energy that's moving through right now, yeah, there we go. There we go. Some yeses. Yep. There's a very good energetic reason for this. It's not just you. You are picking up on some energy that's coming in that is going to give us a little wee bit of uncomfortable, a little bit of uncomfortable feeling for the next couple days. But it's not a bad thing. The uncomfortable is just kind of pointing us to take a look at, and this is what Spirit said to me, riding the emotional release of energy. So there is some emotional stuff coming through, a little bit of releasing and letting go, and this is going to hang around a little bit until we get closer and closer to the equinox. And one thing that's coming up is is shedding space to create. I have said that a few times, but the volume is being turned up just a little bit louder, and allowing yourself to receive came up. So allowing yourself to receive new energy, new things coming in, and allowing yourself to be a little bit more accepting to that. So what does I asked Spirit, well, what does that mean exactly? And Spirit said to me, and you can ask yourself the same question while I'm yapping, is how many of you find it really easy to give? Giving your time, giving your energy, holding space for other people. How many of you here are really good at that? Like you're that friend that shows up, you're that person that's always willing to help out. So the other side of that is being a little, I'm just looking at my notes as I check, I channeled quite a bit, being open to receive that back. So how many of you are a little bit uncomfortable with receiving that back, having somebody being there for you, or being open to receive a gift, whether it be an energetic gift, here's some love for you, or here's a gift for you. Are you uncomfortable to receiving that back? I'm uncomfortable with receiving. Yeah. So some of this is really interesting now because when I went a little bit deeper into that, one thing that we have to kind of release with this emotional, writing the emotional relief energy that Spirit's talking about, some of that is kind of stirring up some very old, and it may even be ancestral, but it's stirring up a little bit of that I'm not worthy. And we're being asked to kind of shed that, to create a space more collectively, to tie in together as a community, energy exchanges, being able to say, I have something here for you to receive, whether it just be energy or whether it be a shoulder for you to lean on. I also really felt a lot of these layers of emotions connected to being a little bit pinched off to receive. We may be afraid of being hurt. That may be something to let go. We may be a little bit nervous that now I owe you one. That some of that is old programming, and it's coming up a lot in the next couple days. So I'd be curious to know if you're experiencing some of that, if you struggle with being the receiver of something, the receiver of energy, or the receiving of healing, or the receiving, because most of us are really good at giving, and we're a little lacking on the receiving piece. And what was really interesting is when I sat with that, when Spirit talked to me about that, and Esther came forward and said, you need to be a little bit more open yourself, Lana, for receiving. And I sat there and I thought, interesting. It very interesting because sometimes, I will often struggle with that, with receiving, whether it be a compliment or whether it be receiving something, energetically. I can pinch myself off as well. So I was like, this is something very interesting that, I think I'm gonna be feeling myself as well as some of you are gonna be feeling. The other thing that came up with this topic was, and this is interesting, connection versus protection. Connection versus protection. I took a big breath in when Spirit whispered that in my ear, and I felt this whole shift of we've been really in a mode of self-protection lately, right? I mean, just look back over the couple of years, we had to protect ourselves, just where we were with past experiences, we've been hurt, protection, protection, protection. And what Spirit showed me was we've got this fantastic layer of protection, but it's affecting our connection. And I was salivating. I was like, this is delicious conversation. So can we become too protected, too many layers of armor to protect ourselves that it's affecting our connection? And what Estrid said to me was 100%. 100%. Now, the word protection and protecting ourselves energetically or protecting ourselves from being hurt, I get all that. I do a lot of protection work, especially energetically for me. But when we put too much protection on, it does interfere with our connection. So have some of you been kind of feeling the desire to perhaps be more community involved, with whether it be online communities, spiritual communities? Have you been missing going out with friends? Have you been missing that? Because I think we have navigated so far into protection that we didn't even realize it because we've been told for the last couple of years about protection, protection, protection. You don't want to do this, you don't want to get sick, you don't want to do that. And we've just wrapped ourselves up in that just a little bit too snug. And I literally felt that. I felt like, yeah, I just felt that, I'm a little bit too snug and I need to kind of wiggle around in that and just kind of loosen myself and connection. And when we connect with other people that serve our highest good and that fill our souls and feed our souls, and this is all going to come back in with that whole shedding and making space to create, and to create with others, and to create in communities, and to create spiritually and energetically, and being open to receive it. Because if we've got ourselves too round tight and we're not connecting and we're not feeling that connection, what are we receiving? What are we receiving? We're passing on a lot of blocked energy to each other. And I loved this conversation. I did a lot of my own processing and my own reflection on that. And I thought, yeah, we're always kind of in that high alert of that energy. And it's just just a few too many tight layers. And that's literally how I felt. I needed to loosen myself up a little bit and just stay with connection and protection as a blend. So I'm curious to see how many of you have been feeling this. This has been me for years. Hopefully, Spirit will give me insight on how to release it. This is a tough one for me. Kayla, I almost said yes to going out tonight, but I didn't want to leave my protected bubble of energy that I created. I get really excited when I read your comments back. Um, I put a wall to protect myself for many years. Yeah. Spirit is hitting me on the nail today. Yeah. It's Spirit always gives what we need to hear. And Spirit always, gives us something to think about. We always have that whole choice and free will. But protection, remember, too much protection can pinch us off a little bit. And if we're meant to learn lessons, because I can hear some of you thinking, well, I really don't want to learn any more lessons when it comes to people. You can still protect yourself energetically. It's the tightness that we've wrapped ourselves up in. We've got ourselves wound just a little bit too tight, and we're just isolating a little bit too much because we are meant to come here and connect and help and learn and receive and to give and to learn and to grow and to receive. So there's that piece that just has us wound a little bit too tight. So taking a look at how, where's your walls? Because you don't want to pinch yourself off. Now, for those of you who are saying, yes, 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 I'm feeling that, I'm feeling that, I'm feeling that. Or have you been feeling lonely? Have you been feeling alone, even though you got people around you, even though you've got a lot of support? Camilla says, literally talked about these things in therapy yesterday. Oh, Camilla, I find that really interesting. I really do find that interesting. Britt, I just don't want to hurt or be hurt anymore. It can't happen if I stay away from everyone. Kind of what's the point type feeling. But I think, Britt, and I'm really grateful that you shared how you're feeling. But I think this whole pulling into what type of community do I want to be a part of, and like I said in my previous live, build it. Build, build, pick and choose what kind of energy that you want to sit in. Pick and choose where you're at. We can't be picky on the energy. Spirit's not saying to let it all hang out and go out and put yourself in situations where you're going to be harmed. What spirit is saying is connection versus protection, and we do need to be more connected, and we do need to be more community based and help center based. And if your community is one or two people, that's great too. A community doesn't have to be 100 people around you at all the times. Good morning to those of you who are coming in. Hannah, yes, very lonely even if I'm surrounded by people. So Hannah, what I would do is I would kind of sit in and just kind of ask yourself, am I connecting to other people's heart space? Am I connecting to that energy, or am I just too pinched off that I'm not able to receive? Because there's a lot of good that people give that's really good to tap into. Joe Smith says, I've been thinking about looking for a croquet club. Wow. Wow, crochet club. Sorry. That's the community and the connection that I feel that I'm talking that Spirit's been talking about, is that anxious, moving out of that anxious shift, just moving out of that space we've been in for a long time, because some of it is no longer serving us. Some of that isolation, some of that protection, we did need it at some point, but we don't need to carry it full on all the time. And I think trusting your intuition and trusting your heart space, I think that we know when we're around people that are not for our highest good, or I need to kind of bubble myself up a little bit more, but we don't need to stay in that at all times with all people in all situations. We're missing a heart to heart connection, and we're missing the opportunity to receive that energy. So let me just ask a few of you here. Do you feel safe here on the lives? Are you open to receive, even if it's some of it resonates and some of it doesn't? It's okay, but do you feel like you put down a little bit of that protection to just kind of feel into the energy? That's the kind of space that Spirit's talking about, is just being able to allow ourselves a little bit of that. Yeah. So I sure do feel safe. Yeah, you're opening yourself up enough, and you don't have to pick up everything somebody says. There's that balancing act, right? We think that everything has to resonate or everything has to feel good, but we can have that connection with people here. We have a great little community here that we all share, and we all say, "Yeah, no, I don't think so, Lana," or "I don't think so." Whoever's making a comment, that's the space that Spirit's saying we need to start opening up ourselves a little bit more. We're just a little bit too pinched off. And as we come in to closer and closer to spring, there's going to be this new energy because we're shedding to create more space for it. And people do come and go into in our lives. They're supposed to. We have soul contracts with people. I've talked about that before. So sometimes it feels like a revolving door. People are coming in, people are coming out, but we're teaching and we're learning and we're growing and we're giving and we're receiving. And sometimes, and I know this is hard, and I know some of you are going to kind of like frown at me on this one. Sometimes the learning and what we do receive is meant to teach us and bring us forward into bigger and better spaces. So, I'll just use myself as an example. I've had, as many of you, I've had my own learning experiences with people. And the experience may have left me receiving something that, wasn't very nice or wasn't very kind. But with what I've learned, I don't pinch myself off to be continued to give and to be able to receive. So I do hope that some of this resonated with you. Yes, because it's amazing when it resonates with me. Yeah. And it's okay when it doesn't. We don't have to be so pinched off that, we don't want to receive anything, even things that kind of make us think. And I've sat with many theories and with many things, and I thought, yeah, that doesn't really resonate with me. But it's okay. We don't have to pinch ourselves off from just having those moments where I think I'm going to leave that there. It doesn't have to be a bad thing. And I think the connection versus protection is a very interesting balance. I really felt that when I went like right through me. I was like, oh my gosh, I hadn't given it a lot of thought myself either. And I'm very careful energetically. I'm very careful. But we need to have that balance of protection versus connection, allowing ourselves to receive as well as give, because most of us are really good at giving, right? We've got that down pat, but it's being open to receive it, the energetic exchanges, the that the just being able to feel somebody else's perspective of what we're doing and where we're at. It's we struggle with receiving compliments. We truly do struggle with receiving compliments. It makes us uncomfortable. And why does it make us uncomfortable? Why do we get uncomfortable? I'm curious what your thoughts are on that. Why do we feel uncomfortable receiving something good? Um, Maybe because we don't believe it. Yep. Yes, because it's too personal. Yeah, it's too personal. I think also sometimes it comes down to, some of it's old programming. If you think highly of yourself and and your ego runs away on you, sometimes we may struggle to see that. When somebody said something once to me, and I had to really look. Somebody seen something really positive in me that I hadn't seen before. I hadn't leaned in there, and that was a gift because because we're not worthy, says Donna. Yeah, because we feel that we're not worthy. Again, some of those past experiences. I don't always trust who's saying it. Okay. I always lean into, intuition. What does your intuition say? Sometimes we have to lean in there and say, yeah, I'm not picking that up from that person. Intuition can be a very powerful thing as well. Sometimes society places unrealistic beauty standards on women. I felt that growing up, along with racism. Um, Absolutely. 100% unrealistic society belief systems. I'm really careful with that. I really work hard on my awareness on being, what do I feel about me? Body image is a big thing. And sometimes we even struggle with that compliment of being of somebody saying something because we may perceive that we're not perfect. But I think when we lean out of some of that and kind of lean into how we feel about ourselves energetically. I mean, I don't really believe that anybody is not perfect. I think we're all perfect in beautiful ways. And seeing people's soul. I see people's soul and I see people's energy. Just looking at somebody, or even if I look at your names here, I can look at your name and I can feel you energetically, and that's what I see. And one thing that I've really been kind of really firm on is it's not up to me to change the world, but it's up to me to be part of an energy shift. And people are always going to go in and out of what they perceive to be popular or the right way or the wrong way. I just kind of step out of that world, and sometimes I live in my own beautiful rose-colored glasses world. But that's how I kind of see things. Kayla. I think there's multiple layers to that. The society we live in tells us we're not worthy. But yes, absolutely, but we pick it up. Right. So I always answer, the spirit always answers me with that. But the spirit will say to me, what are you picking up? What are the belief systems that you're picking up? Because I think some of the accountability also lies on us, on what we're picking up. What do we perceive? What's the truth within? And we do dance too much in what, maybe a group of people feel or a group of people think, and it comes right down to our heart space, and that's the space that I'm solely responsible for, is my own heart space and the energy that I put out as well. I also feel that the big old microphone of social media doesn't have as much power as we think it does. I think majority of people that I see are fully aware of what resonates with them and what doesn't. So I love this discussion, says Camilla. I do too. Bianca, I feel the fake compliments from men, like guys trying to approach me with negative intentions. My intuition can pick that up, as well as in my love life. Low self-esteem can bring in toxic people. Absolutely. So, the vibration that we put out is kind of the vibrational match that tends to come towards us. So whenever I have something drawn to me, and this is one thing that I really take a look at, I'm really good at taking a look at this, is I will take a look at sometimes energetically, what am I putting out there? what am I open to receive and what am I not open to receive? I lean into a little bit of my own self-awareness because sometimes we've got something going on in our own vibration that's pulling something towards us. And when I just kind of I do a lot of self-reflection. I'm very much okay with taking a look at what I need to shift and what I need to shed, right? Shift and shed. And sometimes we are putting out a bit of a signal energetically that we may not even realize that we're putting out in what we're putting out energetically wise. Um and sometimes I think we are putting out a lesson to other people too, but what we're willing not what to accept and what we're not willing to accept. And sometimes other people have got stuff going on in their own vibration that they haven't learned yet. And one thing that spirit always I always say to spirit, how do you see the situation? How do you see that person? Like I always ask spirit, to kind of bring into my awareness on what they're going through energetically as well. Self-reflection and accountability for me, we allow from others is important. We have to love ourselves. Of course, people can be manipulative, but most times the red flags are there and we ignore it 100%. And I think I've said this before on a live. I have said to spirit, why didn't I see that? And spirit went, we showed you here and we showed you here and we showed you here. And we ignore the red flags. One thing that I always lean into very consciously is I very consciously leave here and ask my God, or I always make that conscious decision to lean out of here and go into the intuition muscle. And if my intuition muscle says run for the hills, I pack up. And I've just learned to trust that. But what I also have been kind of leaning into, especially very, very recently, is trusting those red flags and trusting what we feel. Um, okay, let's just scroll back and look at some questions here. But just before I move on though, I just want to tap back into the closer that we get to the equinox, the universal energy is saying make room to create, make room to be open, make room to allow. And in order to make room, we do have to shed, and we do have to kind of unwrap ourselves a little bit and tap into connection. And connection can be, it doesn't always have to be with people, folks. It can always be connecting with nature, connecting with animals, connecting to spirit. That can be the space that you kind of move into with connection as well. It doesn't have to be, a lot of social stuff. It can be, I'm just going to make room to connect a little bit more to the forest or to the water or to the mountains or to the animals. Just kind of looking where we're kind of pinched off and what you are missing, especially when we have those feelings of loneliness or those feelings, and spiritual loneliness is a thing. And, I've gone through a lot of that where it's like, I don't know if anybody gets it. I don't know if anybody understands me. Do people truly get me? I have gone through that where I have felt that my best friends are in the spirit dimensions. It's and we all kind of crave that human connection of people that get us, the people that just kind of say, you know what, Lana, your craziness is accepted here, and it's a great thing. And sometimes I get that connection by just spending some time alone. But we are coming into this big shift of stuff needs to move out, and connection is coming in. And I think a lot of it has to do with we don't need all this protection that we were told that we needed the last couple years. In the last couple of years have also been, more and more isolating for people too. So that's what spirit had to share with me. I'm very excited. Closer we get to the equinox, I have been working on writing out my own emotional releases and to create and shed that space. Okay, let's just see. I'm going to scroll up a little bit. I probably missed some questions. I was chit chatting quite a bit there. Um, a lot of you resonate today with what I've been saying. That's great. Okay. All right, let's just look for some questions. So fire some questions at me. I see a lot of validation here, feeling lack of trust. Um, I lean into, again, I'm just going to answer that is when I have lack of something, I lean back into my higher self or in my intuition. I just lean back in there. And I think sometimes we lean into past experiences. I'll always ask myself, why am I not trusting? Is it a past experience that has nothing to do with the situation that I'm in? Because I also don't want to miss, and I know this, some of you may struggle with this. I don't want to miss out on the learning because I'll tell you right now, I don't want any repeat lessons. And in my next lifetime, I really do want a new theme or a new dimension to go to. That's kind of how I look at it. So if I've got a difficult lesson that I want to work through, I work through it, but I also work through writing out the emotions and releasing the energy to shed the experience and create more space. I really resonate really strongly into that space of I don't want to repeat in any lessons this lifetime or in others. So that's kind of the space that I lean into is what am I learning? What do I need to process? How do I need to grow from this? And what's this trying to teach me? Um, that really helps. I know it's tough when we've been hurt. It's tough when we've been lied to. It's tough when we're learning, but that's kind of the space that really helps me. Okay. Let's see. Wesley. Shelby, my dog recently had emergency surgery, very unexpected, traumatizing, expensive. I've never experienced so much generosity at once before. Oh, that warms my heart, Shelby. That warms my heart. I also feel I want to tap into your dog because I do feel this dog doing very well. I do feel like recovery. I feel a little bit slow, but I do feel recovery there as end results. So I do feel that the results of that surgery is going to be successful. Um Bianca, yes, we're learning more. I'm working on that. Yep. Okay, Camilla, I find my partner will tell me things like, I'm not going to leave you if you don't mess. I'm not going to leave you if you don't manage to do the X. There are forgiving people out there, everyone. Absolutely. Absolutely. Is there a message for me on what I should work on or any advice? Maruna. Um, I feel the expansion of your heart space. So when I kind of lean in there, I see that you've done a lot of heart space work. I can see that the heart space is opening and opening. I need to just kind of really kind of lean into some of what I talked about with allowing yourself to receive. I feel that you just kind of like need to continue with that expansion, expanding that heart space and coming into that heart space a little bit more. I think that we've been taught to think, right? So we're often taught to think. And I think that we think too much here. There's a lot of thinks in one sentence. I understand that. But I feel that I need to just put you more in asking that heart space and feeling in with that a little bit more. Joe Smith, anything from my husband today? I when I read that comment, I really hear the vibration of humor from him. He's trying to bring you forward the vibration of humor. He's asking you to laugh more, to dance more, to have more fun. He's pushing that vibration of humor like forcefully. So like just like he wants you to have more of that. So I feel, Joel, that either there's just a struggle with there's nothing really to laugh at there's nothing that's bringing you that true joy, but he's pushing you into that like full force. I need you to keep laughing. I need you to keep moving your feet. I need you to keep experiencing. That's kind of a big momentum there with him. Um, Bianca, I have a question about any advice about my career path this year. I'm learning to work on my spirit abilities along with other goals of mine. I want to help people and make art. Bianca, I just got a really interesting reflection. So I got a reflection of myself and I understand this completely. I got a reflection of myself when I was doing my spiritual work casual and then I had a full-time nursing job and I slowly went up to being part-time work with my mediumship and then I went down in my nursing hours and up this way. I feel like it's going to be a balance for you and I just have to kind of remind you to just trust and allow the process with it. But I need to kind of bring in that balance space. Bianca, I also really have to tap into, have you thought about spiritual artwork? I just seen a painting of a spirit guide's wings and with a message, a channeled message in the painting. So with your artwork, have you done any spiritual channeling with it for clients? Like, like channeling from from their spirit guides, on what they need to hear or what they need to know. I feel it's going to be a blended balance. And I just got very excited for you actually with this art. Hmm. You can also lean into a bit. We can all channel. We all have channeling abilities. Um, every if you kind of like leave yourself open-minded, um, music writers channel. They're receiving messages. Writers channel. We all channel. I think that when it comes to the art, Bianca, I really feel like I have to kind of encourage you or give you something to think about on allowing people to channel through their own art. Artists channel. We all channel. The knowledge from the spirit dimensions is always available for us to lean into and hear into. I really like that, Bianca. I'm glad that spirit showed that to me. Um, I love how you all support each other here. I just love that. I just love I miss some of the comments sometimes they pop up so fast and I have to go back up through. But I love how you all give. So here we go again with that giving topic. You're giving love, you're giving, loving messages, you're channeling a little bit for each other here. And those of you who are getting these messages from other people here in the group, um just put a little bit of focus on receiving it. There's some good practice here in allowing yourself to give and allowing yourself to receive. Wow, I like that. I like that. Um, Camilla, my mom is going to the hospital with her is going to the hospital with her friend that has an incurable cancer now. Things are going downhill, but we don't know how fast. I'm wondering if there's anything you can pick up on her. I do feel, Camilla, that I do lean into this rapid decline. I also feel the timeline of that doesn't feel far off to me. I don't I feel the rapid decline. I also feel that she's been preparing. Either she's preparing people or she's preparing herself. So has she I feel like she's preparing. So I will leave that there for you. Ashley, Lana, do you have any messages for my grandfather um or my grandmother? I feel like I haven't felt their presence in a little while. Actually, when I lean in there, I have to talk about the number 4. So it's the month of April, significant anniversary, birthday, or passing there. I feel your grandmother as a big support for you from the spirit dimension. She almost has like that spirit guide feel for you. She quite often is on your right side. She's also showing me you just have to lean in there a little bit more with talking to them. So because they're hearing you. But I don't know if you struggle with how do I do that, because she's saying just simply talk to her more and you'll feel her more because she's very much around. She's also showing me the night sky. I can see you with the night sky. So you must connect with the night sky. If you want to feel her presence a little bit more, it's just like connecting to something that you really resonate with, like the night sky, just kind of sitting there and feeling her there. Your grandfather for me is very much pushing you forward with leaps of faith. So has there been something, Ashley, that you've been kind of like needing a leap of faith to? Needing a leap of faith. He just keeps saying, you can jump, you can fly. You can jump, you can fly. You can jump, you can fly. He's repeating that over and over. So with that's a real strong reference for me of that leap of faith. Is he's strongly encouraging you to go into that. Um, uh, Bianca, that resonated with you, I see. Thank you. I used to draw and make video edits and want to write book scripts one day. Thank you so much. I love that, Bianca. I'm glad that that resonated with you. Way to go. Um, Freya, I've been a bit confused on the direction of my career in the medical field. Does spirit have any advice for me? My shoulders got a little bit heavy in there, so either the work's been hard on your physical body or you're carrying something regarding your work in a like it feels very heavy with me. I feel that you can create very easily. I feel like you're an amazing manifester. I feel like you can create an environment that's more of what you desire. I do feel that there's been a shift, and I don't know if you like a shift every 5 years or so, but I keep seeing the number five pop up. I've or has it? Have you been in the same position for the last 5 years? I feel like it's time. But I feel like you're staying in the medical field, but I feel like it's shifting to a completely different end of the medical field. I hope that that makes sense to you. Let's do a few more questions before I have to go. Hannah, my young son has been waking at night screaming. Is it just dreams or something else? I'm not picking up on any energy that he's struggling with. What I would do is really pulled to putting some amethyst somewhere in his room just to kind of calm him a little bit. I also feel with your son, I feel like he's taking his day to bed with him. And sometimes when we take our day to bed with us, it can manifest in the forms of trouble sleeping or with scary dreams. I feel like I just have to like hold the space and just kind of talk about things and just kind of shift his energy before bed, if that makes sense to you, Hannah. But I don't feel anything going on there energetically. Freya, definitely feeling a shift. You're welcome. Claudia, I'm feeling lost lately. I'm feeling when I lean into that statement, I'm feeling that you're finding your way. So I feel like you're finding your way. And I feel that I do feel a lot of change coming in for you, and it does feel really good. But what I really have to talk to you about here, Claudia, is intention setting. So I really feel that you need to kind of set some intentions on what you want more of in your life, whether it be I want more peace in my life, I want more love in my life, I want to bring in this change, I want to navigate through I want to navigate to a new career or whatever it is that you want to navigate through. I need to kind of set some firm intentions. You can have like a goal bowl where you can write it out and put it in your goal bowl. You can just put a little bit more focus on. I need you to kind of start your day off on the right and vibrational frequency. So a little bit of morning meditation with just setting some intentions. I also feel that asking for direction but following the light, and I just heard one of your spirit guides giving that to me. So sometimes we will ask spirit, can you shift this for me, can you help me with this? And then when we get a little bit of light shining at our feet, we kind of freeze with I don't know if I want that change, or I don't know if I'm ready for that. So I just have to lean you in there a little bit. I'm following the light, following the path, following the signs. Sometimes we don't always get that strong signal. Sometimes it's like little opportunities will come up, or we ask for things, or we set our intentions, and then we kind of forget about it or step back. I also feel I need to talk a little bit, Claudia, just a little bit with love. I need to tweak some old patterns. So I don't know if you're going back into old patterns of thinking or going back into in time a little bit, but it comes back to writing the emotional release energy and just kind of putting that self forward. Um, Arlene, make sure you guys give her video a like. Thank you. Thank you for that. I appreciate all the likes. I'm going to scroll up a little bit here. Donna Ryan, my daughter is leaving her husband today. I'm really worried. She's moving home for a bit. Will she be okay? Wow, I feel her ready for this change. I feel I just got like this huge pick up and move kind of. I feel her beyond ready. It takes a lot of bravery to navigate through the change. I feel that this has been going on for quite some time. Because I feel her sitting in a bit of reflection. It may not be today, but it may be in a couple weeks or a couple months. I should have done this sooner, and I have to hold her in love for herself. Feel like I've got to kind of um wrap her in some compassion for herself. I really need to shift her into, we're meant to go in different directions, and now is a really good time to do that. I need to, I gotta take away that looking over the shoulder with being really hard and critical on herself. I feel she's going to be very much okay. I actually feel that bounce back. I just kind of like had a rubber ball kind of bounce back really quick from the situation. I feel like she's going to bounce back. And the reason I feel she's going to bounce back so quick is I feel her very ready. So, it doesn't really spirit showing me some really new interesting spirit signs today. I haven't seen that ball rubber ball bounce back before. So I see that bouncing back really quick. She's gonna pick herself and dust herself off, and I think she's gonna navigate through it really well. I just have to kind of say to her, you're not going that way. It doesn't matter that it wasn't a few years ago. What matters is that today's the first step. Today's the new day. Today's the beginning. Today, I really have to kind of work on her mindfulness with that. With today's a great day to take that step. I'm not worried about her at all, Donna. I feel that she will heal. I feel that she will ride out the emotional release. A lot of coming back to that statement that I channel, right? Riding out the emotional release. I've been able to use it a few times in our conversations here. I feel like she's going to ride that emotional release, and I do feel she's going to do quite well. All right. Let's go back up here. I'm trying to get to as many as I can. I'm trying to stay on a little bit longer today because I know my last couple lives have been short. My week was quite interesting. I had a big combination of things going on this week. I had in-persons, I had Zoom sessions. I also did a group session last night. I had a delicious time doing group readings. I actually brought a student with me, one of my tarot students with me to get some practice in. And I've been doing some studying and I've had very, very blessed with the week that I've had. Okay. Ashley, I've always felt my grandmother was a guide for me. I know typically people who pass away in your lifetime usually aren't a guide, but I've had a connection with her since I was born. Actually, so I would like to touch base on that because it's a really good point. So, yes, we have a spirit council made up of spirit guides, spirit animals, higher ascended masters, um, and so forth. But our deceased loved ones technically are not on our spirit council, but they do. Our ancestors, even if we didn't know them, our deceased loved ones do guide and help us. They do support us. They're just not on the council, but they do help and support us 100%. 100%. They can be like a guide or a support person for us from the spirit dimensions. But thanks for posting that. Actually, kind of gave me something to tap into. Oh, there's Joan. Hello, Joan. I'm feeling so blessed lately. Never have I felt so complete. I chat with my mom, especially while hiking in the woods, and I feel her presence so much lately. Absolutely. Um, I just want to tap into that, Joan. So when we lean into spirit, when we chat with them, when we come with that space and meet them energetically, that's a really important piece with connecting with spirit, is being able to kind of match that vibration. And when we do, we feel them more and we have more awareness of them. We can even start to hear them more when we kind of lean in there a little bit more, when we trust that they're there and when we vibrationally align to them. That is the biggest takeaway. If you want more spirit connection, that is the biggest takeaway that I can give you, is to really lean in there, right? Into the similar vibration. Okay. Shelby, one more validation thing with the giving and receiving. I asked for guidance on my dog with tarot, and I got the Six of Pentacles. Ooh. So I trusted that and made the GoFundMe. Beautiful. Thanks for sharing that. And thanks for, I just want to say too, thanks for sharing how your experiences here, what you're going through, and the advice that you give. Thanks for sharing. It comes back to that whole conversation that I had with allowing yourself to give and receive. I just love that. It's all exchange of energy, right? It's all an exchange of energy. Bianca, I can't wait to be a student of yours one day. Bless your heart. I love teaching. It's a glorious space to work in. And my students teach me. Right? Every single group of that I have, and I think I have quite a few groups of students right now, but every single student and every single group brings me a lot of teaching. It brings me a ton of learning, working with students and learning. Okay. Joe Smith. My spirit animal is a Komodo dragon. Love it. Why didn't I get a nice, sweet animal? Um, I understand the whole dragon piece. I do think you have a spirit. I do think that you have spirit animals that come to you because I see a lot of the little animals coming to you as spirit animals as well. I see a lot of baby foxes, baby bunnies. I see a lot of baby animals around you when I tap into you there. I also have a dragon who came with my Viking spirit guide. I got them on the same day, interestingly enough. And the dragon has a very unique purpose with me. The dragon has been a part of my learning about other dimensions. So when he comes to me, he comes to me as a big teacher with other dimensions. Wesley, speaking of the rubber ball thing, the story of Jim, the Bell Canada tech, inspired me to bubble myself on the phone network. Love it. Okay, Arlene, I've heard songs my granny used to love. I haven't heard in years. Is that her letting me know she's with me? Absolutely. Spirit communicates in many different ways. Music is one of them. So hearing their favorite songs or hearing a song that brings you to a memory that you had with them. Absolutely. Spirit works relentless to give us validation that they are around. And songs are one of them. I love it so much. I found a way to redirect toxic people to self-built phone systems where they'll hear a recording with a message that basically states, I don't want to talk to you anymore. This is why. Shelby, I love spirit animal guide talk. I do too. I love the spirit animals. Deanna, I've never known my spirit animal. Any idea what it is? So our spirit animals do change. Deanna, when I kind of lean in there, I could hear the flapping of a big set of wings. Again with the wings, and I really feel that I'm just letting the spirit animal come a little closer. I could literally hear it coming from a distance. I really feel that you have an eagle with you. I feel this eagle is fairly new. I feel like just the last year or so, and I feel that new directions, flying in new directions. But I also have to give you permission to not be afraid of different directions. Like, you know how because I can see this eagle soaring. I can see the soaring and changing directions and going one way and then going another way. I really feel that this eagle's trying to teach you just to be a little bit more fluid, just a little bit more relaxed with new directions. So I don't know if you've been seeing a lot of new directions or there's new directions coming, but I just have to kind of get you to like more soar. I got to get you to like soar more without so much the flap. And this eagle's really funny. There's a big sense of humor. I just laughed at the eagle. So it's okay to soar and just kind of allow the directions rather than push against them. I hope that makes sense to you. Good. I do have to get myself in gear. I'm going to try to come on again very shortly and maybe I'll just do just some readings or just some card pulls. But I do have to get my butt in gear because I do have some in-persons and I am working with a student who I'm very excited to see today. One of my students is an amazing healer. So I am working with him later on today as well. But as always, I'm wishing you love, light, blessings, and have a spirit-guided weekend. I hope you enjoyed this session. Bianca, Lana, whenever I take a day off from work lately, you go live. I usually miss them. It's like spirit guided me to a specific message. Bless your hearts. Have a great day, everyone. Much love.